So, good evening, everybody. Just when you thought you got rid of me, I'm back again. So, I think this is the first time, as I said earlier on, that we've had a sponsor for the dinner at this conference. So, firstly, I'd like to say special thanks to Horizon Water Infrastructure. Where are the Horizon guys? They're down here. Stand up, take a bow. So thank you very much to the Horizon Water Infrastructure guys for sponsoring, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their business and their aspirations in the water sector in a moment. So I'd like to introduce to you Richard Channell, or is it Chanel? Richard Channell, who stood up just there. He's the program director at Horizon Water Infrastructure, and also Tanya Dady, who is the Smart Solutions design partner at the same company. So, Tanya and Richard, please come and join me and give us your presentation. Thank you. Give them a round of applause. They deserve it.
Thank you so much, Bob. Bob's been brilliant today, everyone. Can we just do a quick round of applause for Bob? Thank you. Okay, guys, we're very aware that we're coming between you and your food and your drinks, so we will keep it light. It will be really quick, I promise. Today, we're actually going to be speaking to you about jelly beans. There we go. Okay, so if we imagine that this glass jar up here, this empty jar represents what we as water companies have to feed back to Ofwat about representing metering, okay? And this is a point here where my PowerPoint skills come into play, this little animation, okay? So we have to report all of the unmeasured jelly beans that go into the jar. We also report all of the visual read jelly beans that we've got in our jar. We report all of our walk-by and drive-by AMR jelly beans. And of course, we've got our smart jelly beans that go on top there. And as we transition towards a universal smart metering, we'll empty this jar and we'll end up with a nice full jar of green jelly beans. And in reporting terms, in terms of what we go back to Ofwat with, all we had to do previously was count how many jelly beans we had in the jar. And it was a pretty simple game, but not so anymore.
So the rules of the game have changed. The stakes have got much higher. Ofwat have introduced performance measures now, so meters have to record water consumption at least once every hour, every 24 hours, and that has to be transmitted to the infrastructure. So that is required in order to qualify for funding for the assets. And so it's no longer about how many jelly beans are in the jar, it's about how they're performing day in, day out, and are they achieving the 95% criteria. There's a whole new layer of risks now to navigate in order to achieve those performance measures. And it's now more important than ever that you make the right choice about your jelly beans.
Okay, so speaking of risk and making choices, hopefully everyone would have found on their chairs this evening a jelly bean game, a game of risk. Okay, so this is a gift from Horizon Water Infrastructure for us coming between you and your dinners. So a word of caution, this game is a game where you spin the wheel and you see what you're going to get. Some jelly beans are good, some jelly beans are bad. You might get watermelon or cabbage, or will you get dog food or cola? Who knows? Now, getting your smart metering right is just like this game of risk. Okay, if you turn your boxes over, you'll see what I mean.
So smart metering programs are complex. There's many components, and each has significant risks. If you take the meters, what warranties are you going to get with your meters? Meters require batteries to communicate, so how long are those batteries going to last? Is that going to determine the life of your assets? What about your supply? We're all going to be buying meters for our programs. What about shortages? What about manufacturing? And what about disposal? So important these days. So devices with batteries in, but meters are generally potted to make them waterproof, making them much harder to recycle materials. Really important considerations when you're choosing your meters. Communications, what technology are you going to use? Are you going to build a network? If you're going to build a network, you're going to need planning permission. You're going to need infrastructure to be deployed. You need to worry about getting to below ground to reach the metering points or deep inside buildings. You need to maintain the network once you built it, and you need to think about security of the data, really important issue for customers. When it comes to installation, you're going to need resources, highly skilled resources. You're going to need dig teams, plumbers, health and safety, water hygiene, really important things. And you're going to need lots of them. And they're going to be trained, and you're going to need fleet management, and you're going to have incentives to retain those people. And all the water companies are going to be competing for the same sort of resources. You're going to need planners to plan where you're going to do your installs, and you're going to need a call centre to manage your customer appointments. You're going to need a customer journey. So how are you going to engage with your customer base? How are you going to plan your installs? How are you going to ensure you create a positive customer experience? How are you going to deal with queries and unhappy customers? How are you going to deal with escalations and complaints? What kind of team are you going to need to support that? And then your head-end system. So all this data, how are you going to analyse it? Before visual reads, you might have had 2 reads a year. With a smart meter, you're going to have nearly 9,000 reads a year. So that's a billion for every 100,000 meters you deploy. That's a lot of data. That's a lot of data going to somebody's data centre. So how are you going to get value from that? We've talked about how important metering is for leakage. So how are you going to use that data? How is it going to integrate with your billing system? So when thinking about all these things, it's important that you get it right. But it'd be easy to forget why you're doing this. Why are you doing smart metering? What processes? What technology do you need? It's all about improving the customer billing experience, driving down per capita consumption, and obviously what we're here today to talk about is to reduce leakage. So what are the risks of getting it wrong? Letting down your customers, paying over the odds for your technology, having to do it twice. If your technology doesn't work, you're going to have to go back and replace it before you anticipated. What if you can't share data with your customers? A key part of it is to be able to change people's behaviours to use less water. So you need to be able to get access to that data and give your customers an insight to their behaviours and how that impacts the water they're using or whether they've got leaks in their property. What about meeting the regulators' expectations? We've talked about the performance control deliverables. Really important for getting funding. Are you going to meet your leakage targets? And what if it takes longer than you anticipated? What impacts are going to have on your shareholders, and what's that going to do to your reputation?
So what's the answer to managing this risk? We believe it's in a metering as a service solution. A total integrated solution that allows you to have a single prime contractor who is completely independent. Being independent is really important because it means that they can choose the best products and the best services for every single component of smart metering. You want to be led by a partner that lives and breathes smart metering and has experts at every part of that journey. A partner with their finger on the pulse when it comes to innovation and a track record of mobilising and delivering the performance outcomes that we need from smart metering. A partner who can do all of this efficiently and provide the best value for you and for your customers. And this can be funded or unfunded. So some of you that are familiar with Horizon will know that they're a MAP. That's a meter asset provider. And traditionally in the energy sector, meter asset providers provide the funds to fund a smart metering program. And we can do the same in water. But this solution, metering as a service, can be funded or unfunded. In a funded solution, essentially you're shifting the balance of the risk or of the program from a CapEx intensive delivery early on in the program to an OpEx, smooth OpEx cash flow profile, right, spread across the asset life over 15 years. And even if you're already choosing your smart metering providers, that doesn't mean that you can't choose a metering as a service solution from Horizon. You can apply retrospective funding to a program that's already in play and already in flight. And whilst an unfunded solution means that you can't benefit from those finance offerings and all those innovative solutions in that space, you can still take a metering as a service deploy that gives you all of the efficiency, all of the value for money, the independence, and the ability to change suppliers whenever you see it, because the smart metering market is evolving at pace. Above all else, it gives you certainty over outcomes. So why take the jelly bean gamble when metering as a service can guarantee every component will work together? Total integration means zero surprises. It means better performance, reduced risk, and sweet outcomes for you and your customers.
So we've brought a bit of fun to metering with the jelly beans, but metering is important, so please come and talk to us. Horizon team's here tonight. We have a stand. Come and guess how many jelly beans are in our jar. We'd be pleased to speak to you tomorrow. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Richard.